Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. So the first teaser trailer for Netflix's The Witcher series has finally dropped, and if you guys have seen my previous video on the character reveals that were done earlier a few weeks ago, I'm hopeful but still somewhat skeptical about this series in its entirety. I'm fine with Ciri, I'm fine with Yennefer, but Henry Cavill has not entirely sold me on the character as yet. And I know there's this huge debate going on about what's accurate to the novel versus the video games. The Witcher pendant is different. I don't know, him carrying one sword versus two, and I do know that yes, he in the novel he carries his silver sword on Roach, but again, I said it before in that video, and I'll repeat it here. This series is only greenlit because of its popularity in the video game genre. That's not discounting how well it did with the Polish novel, but in the West, the novel didn't do as well as it did there, right? So the game is why this is made, right? This is why you've been seeing Geralt all over the place in Soul Calibur, in Monster Hunter, because the characters become so popular through The Witcher and The Witcher up to Witcher 1, 2, and 3 video games. So I would think the target audience is the fans of the game, but they seem to be borrowing directly from the novel and not so much the game. Now, of course, there are similarities between the two, but of course, CD Projekt Red made a lot of creative liberties with the video game. With the two swords on his back for one thing, and the different schools, because I believe the School of the Bear was actually created for the video game and is not actually in the novels. So there are a number of creative choices that they did make, which I think works very well, and some readers agreed worked even a lot better than it does in the novel. So it's just weird to me that the audience here is actually the video gamers, or those introduced to it through the video game, because there are a lot of people who have not played the video games, but they were introduced to The Witcher through the games, even though they haven't played it. They've just seen gameplay, right? So they were introduced to the Witcher world through the game. So it's weird that the target audience for this series is, the gamers, but at the same time they're using, the novel as a guide to build this world. So it's going to be it's going to be interesting to see what the reactions are. So far they have been mixed. Gamers, of course, having their own issues with it, and the novel readers, of course, having issue with the casting choices so far. And with Yennefer herself, I believe similar to Hermione in Harry Potter, Yennefer is supposed to be not so gorgeous, but so far she looks stunning. So who's to say, right? Some of you have pointed out that she does, or she can use magic to alter her appearance to look more attractive. So that may be what's happening with the character reveals that we have seen so far. So I know that there's some division among the fans, novels versus the video games. We can only hope that the end result is something that can satisfy both parties. All right. So teaser. It's just a teaser. It's not very long, but it's what we've been waiting for. All right. So let's check it out.
I remember hearing stories about witches. Is it true what they say?
Elves are the original sorcerers of the continent. When humans and monsters arrived.
So
Elves
her face
taught
is
humans how to turn chaos
distorted.
into magic. And then
So I'm guessing she starts off not looking so attractive, but she uses magic to alter her
Chaos
appearance.
is the most dangerous thing in this world. But without control, chaos will kill you.
So that's all
You
I
need
did
to see
to
some
you.
monsters in this, and that's one of the things that
Monsters
they
and
have to
money.
get right.
it's all it needs
Because
to be.
unlike
Something
Game of
out there
Thrones that
waits
hid
you.
their monsters for several seasons,
This
they
child
have to have
will
this
be
world teeming with
extraordinary.
monsters for it to work.
Yennefer, imagine the most powerful woman in the world. Do you have what it takes?
Alright, so here Yennefer is only just learning magic.
You've got her here. She's why they came.
You can't outrun destiny just because
because you're terrified of it. It's coming.
Find Geralt of Rivia.
I can't do this without you.
It looks beautiful though, I have
What
to
you
say.
choose,
The world itself, it looks stunning.
you'll come out bloody.
Alright. Okay. Huh. Alright, so there we have it, our first look at the Witcher series and Geralt of Rivia. I said it here that, I mean, for this to work, it has to set itself apart from Game of Thrones or any of the others that live in that fantasy genre, because Game of Thrones, we didn't see the dragons for several seasons later on, and even when we did get there, it still seemed sparingly. And even the last season, which many people are displeased with, Ghost and the other direwolves were completely removed, or the dragons seemed to be killed off just for budget's sake, right? But here in the Witcher's world, the monsters are as much a part of the world as the humans are. They're everywhere. So it's something that has to be present. You have to, it has to be there. So that's something they have to get right. And I mean, we only got a glimpse of the monsters there at the end, but that is enough. And we saw Geralt here. I gather he just drank a potion, which is why his eyes look the way they do. Because there are side effects to drinking potions that give him an enhancement. They're poisonous and would kill a regular man. So I love that they included that tidbit there. As I mentioned, for Henry Cavill himself, he's what I'm concerned about the most of the cast. And I understand people are concerned about Ciri and Yennefer, but the actress playing Yennefer is a stage actress. She has been. I'm not concerned about her at all, right? Henry is the one that I'm a bit on the fence about so far. And listen, again, I love Man of Steel. I loved him in Man of Steel. It's my favorite recent comic book film. It's my favorite film in the DCEU so far. So this isn't a jab at Henry Cavill himself, but I just feel like he's miscast here. I'm still open to being convinced. The teaser trailer has not completely convinced me so far, if I'm being honest, but listen, I love The Witcher. I'm definitely going to check this out. I'm going to give it a fair shot. Everything else looks fantastic to me. The world looks absolutely fantastic, and of course the conflict with the Nilfgaardians, and so everything is coming together very well. I was surprised that Yennefer is only just now starting to learn magic, right? I mean, I've played the games, but I don't believe when Ciri entered the picture that she was still learning magic. I believe she was already, she had already mastered most of what she needed to. But here it appears as though she's just learning magic. So, but it's interesting. I mean, this is a different story that they're trying to tell. So, you kind of have to separate yourself from the novels and the video games to truly enjoy it. And I think that's what fans are going to have to do if we're going to come together and enjoy it. Because, as I've said, I can see the fan base going crazy about this now, and some still not being pleased about it. But we're hopeful. The teaser looks promising, and I cannot wait. To check this out. All right, guys, be sure to post down below. Let me know what your thoughts are on this trailer. Have you been convinced? Well, I know for a lot of you, the casting photos didn't do it for Yennefer and Ciri. But what do you think so far? Now that you see them actually, in a teaser trailer, has that changed your mind, or were you already sold on what you saw to begin with? All right, be sure to hit like or subscribe, and next time.